Recording is fun when you have cats. Hey guys, I am back with a new video and I want to first of all introduce you guys to a very special little someone. Here she is. This is Leia. Oh, she's purring. Can you guys hear that? So this is her rescue story. Okay, so there is a kitten in here and I'm trying to get it out, but it's really scared. I don't know if you guys can see him. There's the baby. It's really tiny. So yeah, I'll see how I get it out. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Ugh. I'll get back to you guys. Right now I'm trying to lure him out with some food, but I don't think that's gonna work. She's too scared. So we found her under a wood pallet. There's some remodeling being done in the house and there's a lot of construction material around here. I don't know how she made her way in here, but she did, and she hid under that wood pallet. I don't know how long she was in there for. It could have been days. It probably was based on the level of dehydration that we found her in. So as soon as I saw her, I grabbed some canned food and I placed it there next to the wood pallet to kind of get her to come out to see if maybe I could just grab her really quick, which it kind of worked. I mean, she was definitely interested in the food, just she never really had like the confidence to fully come out or just position herself enough for me to grab her, so I couldn't reach her. And then she hid more in the wood pallet, like when she saw me. She was definitely not used to human contact. So I really quickly fabricated this really ghetto homemade catch pole type thing. Unfortunately, that didn't really work out either because she was positioned like to the side and I couldn't really get the loop of rope over her head because apart from her being to the side, she like shrunk her neck down and like the loop just never made it past her shoulders. But it did help in the way that she was like trying to get away from it and she moved over and it just positioned her in a place where I was able to reach my arm in there and just grab her. So I was finally able to get a hold of her. Oh god. Está quemada. Tiene algo. Excuse my camera woman's fingers on the lens here. She's new at this. So in here she was terrified, absolutely terrified, and she was filthy, very dirty. So I took her inside to give her a bath before settling her in and feeding her. And I was actually starting to get worried that up until that point she just had not cried. And I thought that maybe by the time she touched the water or the water touched her body that there would be some type of reaction, but nothing. So when she was fully wet, I actually discovered some pretty horrendous things. First of all, she was infested, and I mean truly infested with fleas. There was hundreds of them. They were definitely making a meal out of her. She had tons and tons of flea dirt everywhere. She tinted the water. A few times I had to let the water drain and then refill the sink, and it just kept coming. And that was just, that made me feel so bad for her. I can't believe she was like that for who knows how long. Second of all, I also noticed that she was extremely thin, very malnourished. She was very bony, and her entire spine was just like you can count each bone. It made her head look huge compared to her body. I also noticed that she was full of burrs. They were just really embedded in her hair. I tried pulling a few of them out, which I did pull out a few of the really loose ones, but the others were just so embedded in there, and I just did not want to make the whole bathing experience traumatic for her, so I stopped and decided to pull them out later on when she was calmer and more settled in. Another thing I noticed was that she was extremely dehydrated. I would pull on her skin and it would just not snap back. Her gums were pale and she was very weak. She just did not have the energy to ever cry. She didn't cry at all during the shower or while I was trying to pull her from under the wood pallet, which really worried me. I didn't know if she was gonna make it or not. I knew I had to rehydrate her right away. The shower actually helped her skin rehydrate. After the bath, she was actually nice and plumped. I'm pretty sure that had I not found her when I did, she would have definitely not had much longer. This poor baby was just going downhill. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to save her. But after her bath, just this very special moment happened and I was able to get it on footage. So I was offering her some food to see if she would take it, and if she didn't take it, then I was going to rush her over to the vet. And just there, right there, that is the moment where I knew this baby wanted to live. She wants to be here. She is a fighter and she's going to fight to stay here with us. That is just the moment when I realized she is just so tiny but so strong. She had that will inside of her to live, and she did. She pulled through. From that moment on, she just went uphill. So after I hydrated her a bit and got some food into her, I made it my #1 priority to get those nasty fleas off of her. I did not want to risk them taking any more nutrients from her, or her being at risk for leukemia or tapeworms, or just, you guys know how nasty fleas are. Fleas are annoying to older dogs and cats, but they are life-threatening to puppies and kittens. So I tried getting them off with the flea comb. That is the safest method with a kitten, but that method was just not cutting it. The fleas were walking all over her face. Anywhere I would clear of fleas, they would just run and hide in other parts of her body. They were crawling all over her face. It was just terrible, terrible, terrible. So I called my vet and asked him if I could dose her with a diluted dose of Frontline, and he gave me the thumbs up, so that's what I did. I diluted some of the Frontline. The diluting was to avoid an overdose, so I applied it to her entire back area all the way to her tail, and the fleas were just jumping out of her like everywhere. They were all over me and my clothes and the blanket that she was wrapped in, and they were jumping on my other dogs and cats. They already had Frontline on them, but to reinforce that, we went ahead and reapplied Frontline in all the dogs and cats, which thankfully that is just such a great product. All the fleas were flying off of her. They were trying to go to her face because that's just where I didn't apply any of the Frontline. And what I had to do was take a little bit of it in my finger and just very lightly touched it on her fur and her face. That thankfully did it. They just all jumped off of her. Later that night, I checked her for fleas and I didn't see not one flea. Not one. Ow. I'm telling you, not one. Thankfully, the reinforcement of the Frontline on the dogs and cats in the house worked because there was no infestation, thankfully. All the fleas just kind of left. So after applying the Frontline on her, we dressed her in a sweater because we didn't want her to lick it off of her. So later at night, after she had slept for a while and was eaten and was just more calm, we decided to try and get more of those burrs off of her. So what I tried was to just cut the ones that I could off. So I gave her this really unglamorous haircut. It looked terrible and it still hasn't fully grown back and evened out. We were able to get a few of them off, not all of them, but the rest I noticed were getting caught in her clothes. So we kept dressing her and changing her outfits, and they were just getting caught, and that's how we got rid of those. So we had her sleeping there in that crate for a few days because she was obviously not used to human contact, so I couldn't put her to sleep with me, and I didn't want the doggies to bother her too much. And I just kind of made that crate her safe haven. That crate. Right there, this one. So that was all day one. The next day I actually took her to the vet to get her checked out because I was just really worried about the condition that I found her in, and I just wanted the vet to kind of check her out. And I was also worried about her having vitamin deficiencies, calcium deficiencies, just because she was really malnourished. And the vet is pretty familiar with my work, and he was very confident that I could bounce her back to health myself without intervention from medications and stuff like that. So basically he just told me to do my thing and she was gonna be fine. And he also told us about this event going on where they were doing spaying and neuterings and shots for half off. But because of her condition, she just did not have strong defenses developed, and he just was not really comfortable with the idea of giving her shots yet. But we did make an appointment for that, and we also made an appointment to get her spayed in July. I think it's July or June. I'm gonna have to check the calendar later on. But she already has her appointment to get spayed. Neutered. So that's that. Fast forwarding here, she's been here with us a while now. She eats like a champ. She eats all day long. I didn't have any trouble getting her from wet food to dry food. It was super simple. But don't worry, she does eat a combination of both. She also drinks water like a champ. I actually caught her trying to drink fish water. She just isn't really tall enough to reach yet. So yeah, me and her have been slowly bonding and just forming this connection, and yeah, it's been getting stronger and stronger every day. So now that she's a lot better and has a lot more energy, her playful side has really shown up. She plays all day long. So the doggies accepted her right away, but unfortunately we had some problems there with Sirius getting him to accept her. He was the last cat to come home. He just would come close to her and smell her, and then he would just like go and like run away. For like 2 weeks straight, he just separated himself from us. Like, he just was so distant from us. He was just very offended that we brought another feline into this house. Like, he wants to be the only baby, so it was a struggle. And there was a point there where I thought that, oh man, like, it's not gonna happen. But slow and steady wins the race, and that's what happened here. He has finally accepted her, and they play all day and night. Leia, hey, come here. Oh my god. Hi. What are y'all doing? Huh? So lastly, I want to explain where the name Leia came from. So I am kind of a geek when it comes to movies and TV shows, and Star Wars is actually one of my favorites.
I am your father. At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
I'll do it again. Yes.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Give yourself to the dark side.
May the Force be with you.
I wanted her to have a really strong female character's name, and it just fit her, and it's a cute name, it's a nice name, and that's her name. Her name is Leia. So we have decided to keep her here permanently with us, which is totally against what we go for. We love rescuing animals. For anybody here that rescues animals, you guys know the #1 rule is to not keep the rescues because they take up a lot of time and it leaves less room to rescue others and take others in. But I have a very special connection with her. It goes a while back to another cat that I had who has passed away, and she looks just like her. And it's not really just that she looks like her, she also acts like her. So I was particularly close to Chloe. I don't know if you guys remember her. She has made appearances in some of my past videos. She passed away last year, and honestly, like, the way she passed away just makes me so sad and really angers me. I think that she would still be here today if it wasn't for a bad vet experience. I just don't think it was fair. I've never talked about her death on this channel because it's not a happy story. So yeah, I lost her and it just broke my heart because I had this really special bond with Chloe. She was a stray cat that was not tame. She was not used to human contact, and I slowly started to gain her trust until eventually I was able to handle her and pick her up and pet her. And just when you tame down a wild animal, even though she wasn't wild, she was just a stray, but when you tame an animal like that, you create this bond that you just cannot create with a pet. Like with Sirius, I don't have that same bond. It's a different bond what I have with him. It's special as well. I mean, I raised him from a little tiny kitten, but it's a different kind of bond, what I'm talking about, and I had that with her. She was mine, you know, she was my cat, and you know, we were really close, and I just miss her so much sometimes. Oh, I don't want to cry. And then this little cutie here that looks just like her and acts just like her comes along and just comes into my life, and I can't give her away. I can't put her up for adoption. So that's why she's staying here, and she's really good too. She's really fun to have around. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Have a good day or a good night, and I love you guys. Bye. Hey guys, so some of you have reached out to me trying to make a donation. You know, you guys like what I do, you guys want to support what I do, and you guys want me to keep doing what I do, and I just want to thank you guys so much. But I'm not taking donations. But if you would like to support this channel and support what I do, and you would like me to keep doing what I do, what you can do is buy some of the t-shirts that I design. The earnings from the t-shirt sales I actually use to keep doing what I do. So if any of you guys want to help, that's how you can do it. And that way you're not just giving me money, I'm giving you something in return. I actually design and hand paint these shirts myself. So yeah, the link is in the description. And we also have other items for sale, not just t-shirts. By you purchasing any of those items, you are contributing and supporting this channel. Third and final announcement is a giveaway. So here is the prices. There will be 2 winners. And both winners will kind of get the same thing. Let me just show you guys. So the first prize is